Today we are investigating the Magic of Marvel Oracle deck. I am super excited to look at this deck because I'm a huge comic book nerd, and in my life, Marvel versus DC, Marvel always wins. So this is a new Oracle deck that just came out here in 2022, and I am excited to share it with you. So let's take a look. Okay, so because this is a mass market deck, you do get a nice two-piece box, and it's pretty sturdy. You can see that the cards are in here. They're in the standard, like, little molded thing inside the box, and there's a little ribbon to pop the cards out, which is kind of cool. There is a guidebook, which can be helpful if you don't know who some of these characters are. I really love the fact that it is full color, and you can see, check out Loki. There will be almost like a little message. So Loki's is care to discover your glorious purpose. And then there's a little bit about each character. So if you're not familiar with one of these characters, that's kind of nice because it does tell you a little bit about them. And then there's short information on their message. At the back of the deck, there are some sample spreads, which is really nice. There's like a little 3-card spread, and it walks you through how to interpret it. And then there's some very specific, there's a shapeshifter spread and the web spread and the ready aim fire spread, which I think is really cute because it kind of goes with the Marvel hero idea. So there are not a whole lot of cards in this Oracle deck, which makes sense. A lot of times Oracle decks are a little bit fewer cards than your standard 78 tarot card deck. The cards themselves, unfortunately, they're not the best stock. They're pretty thin and they're flimsy, and I feel like I could probably tear these up pretty easily. So unfortunately, not the best paper stock. They're kind of a matte to me, and the back is, if you look real close, you can see the Marvel logo. And so even without that, you would be able to tell that because the design on the back is different depending on which way you flip it. So if you wanted to do reversals with this deck for any reason, that would be pretty challenging to do. Even though this is a small thing, it would be kind of hard to see. That being said, I am so excited about this deck. So it's not the greatest paper quality. There's no fancy shiny edges, but the material on it is awesome. So for every card, you get the character's name, and then you get some really awesome art. And then at the bottom, so this one you can see says the best way is your way, you get like a little message from them. What I really like about this deck is they are including some folks, so like there's Aunt May, they're including some folks that aren't necessarily like main, hero characters like Aunt May, as well as some, I love this image of Black Panther, as well as some heroes that, and villains as well, that we know pretty well that have been coming out in the MCU in the past couple movies. So we've got Black Widow, Captain Marvel. I have to say, Deadpool, yay! I'm so glad he made it in here, and his messages. Oops, sorry guys, I'm just here for the snacks, so perfect. I think it's really fantastic that they did such dynamic artwork. As a longtime collector of like the Marvel trading cards and stuff, they didn't always do that. So it's really exciting to see that the art that was used for this particular deck is so evocative of the characters themselves. And here we have Domino. So we're seeing Emma Frost. So we're seeing mostly like a pretty good mix of mutant and non-mutant. There's Ghost Rider, awesome. And so this is kind of cool. So we don't have the original Hawkeye. We don't have Clint. We've got the new Hawkeye, which is kind of neat to see some of the newer characters working their way in as well. And I understand, I know they're not really that new, but I just mean in terms of new, what we're seeing on TV. Howard the Duck made it into this deck, which I think is fantastic. And then there's Hulk. We've got Iron Man, Jubilee, not my favorite mutant. I think she's an interesting choice for this deck because some of the other mutants that are in here are really, really recognizable. So she's a curious choice, and apparently I'm just gonna drop her. Let's put her back in the deck. Kitty Pryde, and so this is the younger Kitty Pryde versus the older one that we're seeing in the comics right now. So it kind of fits. And her dragon, she's got Lockheed. Ooh. There's Lockjaw from the Inhumans. A good guard dog is hard to find. Love it. And of course, because why not be difficult, we've got Loki. Then we have Misty Knight. So it's an interesting spread of street level heroes, as well as yay, Moon Knight, that makes me so happy, as well as heroes that, you know, we know from the recent Disney Plus. So there's Miss Marvel, we got Mystique, Nick Fury. We're using the Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury there versus the Nick Fury that was in the old comics. Nightcrawler, Rogue, and Gambit get to be together, which I think is lovely. So that's kind of mimicking what's always been the trope in the comics. I got Ronan the Accuser, Scarlet Witch, She-Hulk, Shuri. It's really neat to see her showing up. Hopefully we'll get to see her some more in the movie. Spectrum, Spider-Man. It's a really nice one, that artwork. Squirrel Girl. So this is one of those ones that we haven't really seen Squirrel Girl a lot on television, but I think that she's probably going to be appearing pretty soon with some of these other ones. Storm, Thanos, the Runaways, and interesting to see them here, but they did just have their own show. So a lot of the characters in this deck, there's Thor, are ones that we've been seeing, Valkyrie in the movies and Disney Plus in the last few years. And there's Wiccan. Wiccan is one of the ones that we haven't seen yet, so I'm kind of excited to see them in this deck and see if maybe that means they'll be popping up. Winter Soldier and Wolverine. So it's a pretty small deck. Like that's it. That's all the cards. But I like this one a lot better than some of the kind of geeky tarot decks that have been coming out where the majors are illustrated but the pip cards aren't. So I think it's really nice that they put so much effort into the art in this deck. The back of the box talks about they're illustrated in the way of kind of a classical oracle deck iconography, and they really did. Like I think they did a great job. Especially like this reminds me of almost like a goddess card, or even the high priestess in the tarot. So the artist really did do a nice job of bringing the character to life, but also giving it a real graphic look for the card's purpose. So if you are a huge Marvel fan and you also are into the woo, if you like your tarot and oracle decks, this is actually a really, really great deck. And I think it would be awesome too for people who are curious and they maybe know the comics, because you'll be able to interpret these cards really, really well if you know kind of the history of the characters in the comics as well. So super fun deck. Go check it out.